Good evening. Before we get started, anybody has a cell phone, pagers, any electronic devices, will you please shut them off or put them on vibrate? Thank you. Welcome to this meeting of the Wooddale Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Roy Sy. I'm chairman of the Wooddale Zoning Board of Appeals. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Kopp? Here. Mrs. Schroeder?
Here.
Mr. Kadala?
Here.
Mr. Cruciani?
Here.
Mr. Davis is absent. Dr. Madonna?
Here.
Chairman Sy.
Here. I declare a quorum present. We have two public hearings scheduled for tonight. The hearings will be transcribed by an official court reporter, and all testimony will be given under oath. At the hearings, there will be an opportunity for the public to offer testimony and to comment. Following the public hearings in these cases, our deliberations will be open to the public in the sense that you all are invited to listen and to watch. The public, however, may not speak during our deliberations. The zoning ordinance requires a prevailing vote by the majority of the members of the Zoning Board of Appeals for those matters that will be referred to the City Council for approval and for those matters on which the Zoning Board of Appeals will make a final decision. We ask that the applicants here tonight provide a general description of their proposals and then give specific evidence to demonstrate that the applicant's proposals meet the standards of the zoning ordinance for the relief requested. The burden is on the applicant to prove the case. With respect to others who wish to speak, you will be given an opportunity to present specific evidence as to why you believe that the applicant meets or fails to meet the standards for the relief requested. Finally, we will strictly adhere to the schedule prepared for tonight's meeting. In the case of an applicant or in the event you or your attorney have filed an appearance as an objector, you'll be afforded sufficient time within which to present your evidence. Whether you are a member of the public wishing to make a statement for the record or a witness testifying on behalf of the applicant or objector, you will be placed under oath and then begin by stating your name and address. If you are not presenting evidence on behalf of the applicant or an objector, your remarks will be taken after the applicant and all those who have filed an appearance as an objector have presented all their evidence. You'll be subject to question by the Zoning Board of Appeals and the applicant or objector. To allow as many people as possible to be heard, if you are not an applicant or an objector, we will request that your remarks be limited to 5 minutes. If additional time is needed, the hearing will be continued to the next available hearing date. I will now call the first matter before us this evening. The first matter on the agenda is case number 06-V4 regarding the petition of Ramon and Esther Novena, owners and petitioners of the property at 121 South Cedar, who are requesting a variance to allow for a side yard width reduction from the R3 zoning district of 7.5 feet to 5.27 feet on the north side of the property and from 7.5 feet to 5.6 feet on the south side of the property to allow construction of a second-story addition to an existing home. The matter was heard last month and was continued today as a result of an error in the legal notice and notice to the property owners. A new notice was issued for this hearing. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Schroeder?
Here.
Mrs. Kopp?
Here.
Mr. Kadala?
Here.
Mr. Cruciani?
Here.
Dr. Madonna?
Here.
Chairman Sy.
There. I declare there is a quorum present. Roger, please indicate when the notice of the hearing in case number 06-V4 was published and whether as secretary you have the certificate of publication from the newspaper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You. We are in receipt of the certificate of publication from the Daily Herald newspaper. The public notice was published on April 29th, 2006, with the control number of T as in Tom 3730921, and signs with the proper wording have been placed on the property in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are the petitioners present? Please allow yourself to be placed under oath and then present information relative to the petition and the standards set out in the Wooddale zoning code for the requested variance.
You and each of you do solemnly swear that the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. At this time, would you like me to tender the registered letters and notices?
Yes, we'll have the, be Exhibit A.
Good evening. Members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, ladies and gentlemen, for the record, my name is Thomas Breen. I'm an attorney and my office is located at 619 South Addison Road, Addison, Illinois. Come before you this evening on behalf of my clients, Roman and Esther Novoa, who are the owners of the property in question, which is commonly known as 121 South Cedar, Wooddale, Illinois. My client is present, and if you should have any questions of him, along with our builder, Mr. Joran, and it's Goran Ilijuski, Ilijevski. We'd be happy to attempt to answer them. The property in question has lot dimensions of 75-foot width by 152 and contains approximately 11,412 square feet. We come before you, as indicated, requesting a variation from the 7.5-foot side yard requirement to 5.27 feet on the north and 5.6 on the south to allow my client to construct a second story to his existing home. The property is zoned R3 and is surrounded by R3 single-family residential homes. The current home was constructed and exists with the said variation since 1966. The said existing structure would be considered today a legal non-conforming use as it was constructed prior to the current ordinances, and it currently has the variations that we are requesting. We're merely asking that we be allowed to go up. The footprint would remain unchanged. We would meet each and every other bulk requirement. So the property as it exists today has the exact variations that we are requesting. All other variations would in fact be complied with. The property, and we tendered, but I'm not sure that you have it, renderings of the property. If you do not, I'll be happy to tender to them, those to
I
you
don't
right
believe
now.
anybody on the, up there has a copy of the renderings.
The home would be constructed of brick, completely.
And one for the attorney. Would you give the court reporter, maybe that'd be Exhibit B? Before we get in there, would you like to read in the variation standard? You don't have to read the questions, just to reply.
I'd be more than happy to do that. You want me to do that now?
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
fine.
To the first question, the property was constructed on or about 1966, as I've indicated, was purchased by my client in 1986. The applicant has been resided at the property. They are now desirous of building a second floor addition to their residence and want to remain a resident of the city of Wooddale, but without the variation would be prohibited to build that addition. To the second question, the applicant purchased the residence, which was constructed according to the zoning codes then in effect. The side yard requirements, as indicated, were increased after the residence was constructed, which now prohibits the owner from constructing the second-story addition without the variation that we have requested. To the third question, the applicant did not construct the residence but purchased the property as previously built. The change in the side yard requirements now require a variation before an addition can be constructed. To the fourth question, if the variation is granted, the addition can be added without changing the existing side yards and will not exceed the height requirements under R3 zoning code. That addition will be consistent with other two stories in the neighborhood. As to the next question, the answer that we tendered, if the variation is granted, the addition can be added without changing the existing side yards and will not exceed the height requirement under R3 residential zoning code. Said addition will be consistent with other two stories in the neighborhood. To the sixth question, if the variation is granted, the addition can be added without changing the existing side yards and will not exceed the height requirements. Said addition will be consistent with other two-story in the neighborhood. As I've indicated, the proposed addition would be of brick construction. I would point out to you that, as pointed out by the city staff in their recommendation that was tendered, I believe, to you, the city has previously considered the same facts that exist in this situation and have deemed them to be a hardship. And they have routinely granted such variations to allow the residents to improve their residence. Obviously, the reason for that is that they want to see the homes be improved, not to just stand status quo. I would also point out to you that behind my client, there is a new two-story home being constructed. Just to one block to the north, there are two additional homes that are being constructed, and they are also 2 stories. One of my client's neighbors, Peter and Martha, and hopefully I pronounce this right, Iachine, but it's I-A-C-H-I-N-E, wrote a letter in support, and I believe they mailed it to the city. I'm not sure that is in your package, and I'd be happy to tender you copies. I'd also ask that it is not, that I get to read it in record. Original, and I'll just read it.
Yeah. You have a copy, we'll give that exhibit.
I'll give it to the. This is dated April 21st, 2006, and it was directed to the Plan Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, City Council of the City of Wooddale. It was RE, a variation of side yard at 121 South Cedar Avenue from Peter and Martha Iachine, 115 South Cedar Avenue. We wish to express our support for the variation at 121 South Cedar Avenue. We are directly north of the Navas, and they spell it N-A-V-A-S, at 115 South Cedar Avenue. We understand there will be no change to the footprint of the house and will be an asset to the neighborhood. They have similar projects in the area, and we feel it will have a positive effect upon property values. And they signed it, and it was notarized, and you now have a copy. I think the important issue is that it does not change the footprint. The addition is to go upward. The side yards exist as they exist today. I believe, based upon the facts, that the variation is certainly consistent with the new 2-story homes being constructed in the neighborhood. The request is not decreasing the existing side yard, it's leaving the footprint as it currently exists. It allows the status quo, and it allows them, my clients, to improve their existing residence. Certainly, it is consistent with the past practices as pointed out by your staff of the City Council and the city. And I don't believe that it in any manner changes the characteristic of the property, seeing 2 stories exist in the neighborhood. Based upon these facts and on behalf of my client, I would request your approval and recommendation of approval to the City Council. This time, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for consideration of this matter. And if you should have any questions of either myself, my client who is present, or his builder, we'll be happy to attempt to answer them. Thank you again.
Okay, right off the bat, we have a diagram of the first floor. What's going to be on the second floor? And to go along with this, what's the overall height of this building?
The overall height is 29.8 inches, which complies with the code.
Okay.
You want to know what's on the first? You want to know what's on the second floor?
Yes.
It would be, the bedrooms would be exist on the second floor. It would be calling.
Well, stay up to the rostrum there, so. Yeah, use the microphone there.
Excuse me, are you the builder? Yes. Okay, good, okay, got it.
On the second floor will be the bedrooms, which is 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. One of them is a master bathroom, and one of them is a hallway bathroom, they're sharing the other bathrooms.
Now, is there going to be any kind of a wooden deck or anything put on the back of this building?
No.
Mr. Cadali, you have a question?
What is that roof structure I see jutting out the back?
That's the den addition on the back of it.
I thought the footprint of the house wasn't gonna change.
The side right of the footprint will not change. We add in a additional, I think there was 130 square feet of a den on the back of it.
That's not showed on the plan that we were given. I have another question for you. Do you have a proposed site plan available to show us tonight?
Yes, we do. The left side of the elevation is,
Can you just hold on just a minute till Roger comes back? We'll put it up on the overhead.
okay. We can bring it over there.
Roger will be right here, so we'll take a little break in the action here.
You know, Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that they're gonna be able to pick up much of that. I don't know how big of a drawing that can pick up.
We can do as one, like the left side, the right side, the back side, front side, individually. Everything at once, I don't think it will fit.
Okay, well, I asked for a site plan, though. Those are elevations.
I think it will fit.
I don't know, I need
No.
technical assistance from somebody. Or I'm okay with going back up to the front. I don't know how well everybody else can see it, but I can see it somewhat.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, that's the first floor plan. Where's the site plan?
Hey, hold this for a second.
Is it up in the corner there?
As the first, there was the first floor plan, this is additional than the second floor plan that we wanted to add on the second story. And as far as the sides, viewing on that is what we actually adding on the first floor is the front, it's only a 4 feet. And on the back, it is a 13 by 10 with constructed on a slab, and it will be only 1 story.
Okay, I'd still like to see the site plan, the plots plan, as the house, as the future house will sit on the
There you
existing
go.
lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is
Okay.
the site plan right here, I apologize.
Okay, yeah, that would be great if we could get that on the overhead.
Yeah, this one will fit. if
Okay,
you want me to do
I
that.
would really like to see that on the overhead, please.
Sure, great, no problem.
Until we get that under, now, if you're putting this 10 by 13 addition in the back, now, is that gonna, how does that affect lot coverage?
We're well within the lot coverage. There are no variations of any kind. It's been reviewed by staff. I'm told that there are no other variations other than the existing side yards. And all we're asking, as to the side yards, is to build upward.
Yeah, I believe there was underneath 27% of the usage of the lot with everything that we were requesting to add on this property.
Yeah, is there any other questions until we get the, no, just leave it there.
I definitely don't know how to use it. so-
All right. Dr. Madonna, do you have any questions? Mr. Schroeder?
Do you know how to use that thing?
The lot is 75 by 151.88.
There's about approximately 11,412 square feet, give or take.
As we're facing at the left side of that property, actually as the front of the site, and the long 151.88 is the side line on the. They will be on the north side of it, and 152.17 on the south side of the property.
Being that you're up there, can you see a little bit better than I can how far the northwest corner of the existing building is from the front property line? Is that 26 feet 11 inches?
You're talking about?
No, the far
20
north
26
corner, the northwest
11.
corner. Sorry, northwest corner. Yes. Is that?
That is 5.27.
No. From that corner to the west property line. to the front
2611.
2611. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have a quick question here on this floor plan we have here. The second item on your calculations, you got a 50 foot and it's a tower. What is that? What do you mean by tower?
That's the front. It's like a right angle look on the front of it. When you're facing that is exactly a 4-foot angle. Then we have a 9-foot straight, another 4-foot, 22.5 angle on that. That will be the front of the property.
That'd be like the bay you
Like a
put-
bay window, but
Okay.
actually it's with the foundation.
Okay, that's
Yes.
the first time I ever heard it called a tower, but that's what. Mrs. Kopp, do you have any question?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
On the drawing that's up there now where it says first floor only, what was your description of that? What is that?
Den.
Then,
Does that currently exist now in the,
no, it's not. There will be additional add-on to the property.
okay,
It's 130 square feet, 10 by 13.
okay, 130 square feet.
Does the petitioner realize, or did staff make mention of the fact that that like half octagonal bay in the northwest corner, of the proposed house, that a portion of that is going to be built in that side setback? That's not part. That's yes, sir, it is. A portion of it is.
Okay.
Yeah, a portion of it is, and
No, he was not.
okay. Well, that the garage may not approach the front setback, but a portion of that garage expands also. So there's 3 places here where the footprint is expanded and not existing, and one of those locations happens in a side setback. Unless somebody can prove me wrong.
Would you do that one more time?
Well-
What are you suggesting, Mr. Goodall?
I'm suggesting that the statement that the footprint doesn't change is not true. And in 3...
As far as the side yards is what
Okay.
we're talking about.
Well, also not true, because that bay, the upper left corner of the house, the northwest corner,
Yeah,
there's that, like a third of an octagonal bay that sticks out.
Yeah.
The far northern edge of that happens within beyond the allowable side setback. So a portion of the perimeter of the building, of the new building, will be larger than the existing, and it will happen in a setback where it's not supposed to happen. So,
Well, the actual corner that we're coming up after that, it's not going straight with the existing foundation. It goes inside.
I understand, I see the 45-degree angle. I mean,
Yeah.
it may be only a matter of 3 or 5 square feet, but it's there.
The side yard would not change, I believe is our point.
No, I agree. The side yard won't change, but
And the existing side yard will remain the
it will not
Right.
become any smaller, but more structure will now be in that 7.5-foot required side setback. A small portion of it, but some building nonetheless.
Okay.
If there are any other further questions from the board? Did you have anything else, Mr.
Not at this
Breen?
time. Not at this time.
Okay. Is there anybody in objection to the petition or any member of the general public in attendance who wish to make a comment or has a question for the petitioner? If so, please stand and be placed under oath.
She's at a cast. Yes. Can she sit, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, I know, yeah. Whoever's going to speak has to be sworn in. Okay.
I'll go next.
What's your name?
Melissa A. Stoll,
Spell last name.
S-T-O-L-L.
Thank you.
Mrs. Stoll, are you going to testify too? Well, you have to be sworn in too.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Do you swear that the testimony about the case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What is your first name?
Patricia Stoll.
You'll have to go up to the podium then.
Hello, I'm Melissa Stoll from 145 South Cedar in Wooddale, and yes, I oppose the building of this house. In part, I feel that information that's been given is not accurate. I feel that it is, it's been said that the footprint of this house is not changing, and it is. There are additions that are being put on that, from my understanding of architecture, would require foundation changes, such as the bay or tower area in the front and the den area in the back. And another thing that's mentioned in the pictures is that the house currently has a 1 or 1.5 car garage, and the architectural drawings show a 3.5 car garage, and which would then also require driveway surface area enlargements. And this is said to be a 2-story house, and in actuality, it's 30, call it, I'm rounding it up, 30 feet tall, and with an attic space that would be suitable living area. There's enough space in an attic, let's call it a 3-story house. This is not a 2-story house with a little crawl space attic in it. Similar work that's being done around town. You can watch the workmen inside the attic area, and there are not midget workers walking in there, and they are standing full upright with several feet of headroom clearance in there, with the possibility that these attic areas being used not just for storage but for living space. I also disagree with the presentation that this type of home being built in the area it's in is not just beautification and home improvement. It has a negative effect upon the rest of the homes in the area. It's a huge increase in size in this home, and therefore in the property value of this home, and which will spill out into the value of the homes in the area. And as I'm seeing around town, one home leads to another home being built like this, and one home leading to another home is one increase in property value and then real estate taxes, and it all spills down to the people that have been living here in town as long-term residents and the new families that have moved in. Doesn't help them out either, all this property tax increase. I have yet to see an occasion in this town or any other town where the property taxes in the surrounding homes, which remain unchanged, go down. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you for your comment.
I do also have some photos, if I may present them. It has been suggested that this home is going to blend in with what's there, and what's in the area is single-story ranch homes on the block, with one exception, which is my home. And I like to consider that it is a true two-story home. It's the only two-story house. It's on the end of the street as opposed to plunked in the middle of it. And this new building is going to be equivalent to having one of these ranches plunked on top of my house in height. And it's not going to blend in with the neighborhood.
Okay, these photographs, should we put this in as, do you want them back, or we could put them in as evidence?
I believe I have a second set, and I can put them in as evidence.
Okay, thank you. Yes, they should.
First home next to them. Yeah, this is across the street, about 2 doors down. Across the street, 3 doors down. This is on the same side of the street, about 5 or 6 houses down. Sorry, I got the sun in there, but again, it's a single-family ranch home, and this is 3 doors down. This is the one split level on the street, slightly raised, but again, covering about the same amount of surface area. And this is 2 doors down. And this is the one two-story house on the street, and it is 19, it looks big, but it is 19 feet 8 inches tall. So this new house would be another, basically 10 feet taller than this home.
What kind of roof is on that house?
It is a mansard roof. There is no attic space within the roof. It is the second story. And also, it does blend in with the neighborhood because the floor plan is very similar. It is an L-shaped house and attached garage, and it's just 2 stories as opposed to 1 story. So architecturally, it blends in very well with the neighborhood.
You're up to the court reporter, and you have the number on it. Okay.
And then that concludes what I have to say.
Yeah.
This house would be very different, it's much larger, and I believe it'll have a negative effect on the property values in the surrounding area.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Mrs. Stoll, you could just stay right there, that'd be fine.
Thank you. Next meeting, I'm out of the cast. And I'll stand up. My name is Patricia Stoll, S-T-O-L-L. I live at 145 South Cedar. At the other end, in fact, I live in the two-story that was there with the mansard roof. And have lived in that home for more than 35 years. When we built it purposefully to blend in with the other homes and to not have a peaked roof on it that would overpower everything else in the neighborhood surrounding us, which was either a box ranch house with usually it was one, possibly two car attached garage, or it would be a split level home, as was demonstrated in the pictures. I came this evening with due respect for Navoa's desire to improve their property. However, I am asking that their request for a variance be denied. One, the property, as has been stated, is as proposed by the Navoas at odds with everything else that's around it. Yes, this is happening in other parts of the city. It doesn't mean it's right, proper, okay, whatever. The character of the neighborhood is what I am particularly concerned about. The neighborhood is going to be changed in its character, as has been discussed. This is going to be a looming 3-story home that is going to be on an undersized width lot. It is not going to be particularly attractive. It's an attractive house, but somebody once told me the difference between a flower and a weed, and I don't mean this personally, but the difference between a flower and a weed is that the weed is a flower that's out of place. I've grown to appreciate that very much. And I'm afraid that at Navoa's house, the proposal is not going to be enhanced by the surrounding neighborhood, and vice versa. The tax base, the assessments are going to go up. This is currently in the process of going on all over Wooddale, I have found. And it has begun to drive people out of the community, especially the older people who are on fixed incomes. This has happened in other communities, and it is happening here. This is not, the home that is being proposed for our block is not just a problem for our neighborhood. It is a problem going on in the city. And the repercussions of it are really somewhat devastating. This is a town that is losing its open spaces to brickyard urban jungles. The houses themselves are beautiful, but they belong someplace with more space around them. This community is being turned into an urban jungle. Inner city Chicago, we're being turned into one large affluent neighborhood. When we first moved here, you had the middle income. That's still our neighborhood, middle income, until this house goes up and the next one moves in. But when we moved in, there was a place for the middle income people, such as our neighborhood, in our middle income houses that we could afford to buy and maintain and bring up our families in. Now, should we have won the lottery, we could move to the woods or Royal Oaks, but the space is running out, and now the builders, with due respect, are coming in, and they are turning every neighborhood into the $800,000 mini mansion neighborhood. I don't see this as okay. What's going to happen to the middle income people here? Or those on fixed incomes? And the new families who maybe in the future can't afford the hundreds of thousands of dollar home. So I don't particularly see this as enhancing in any positive way our neighborhood. The footprint, I've gone over this. I had the same as you received this evening, apparently, a plat of survey, a front elevation, and a first floor plan. And I have gone over